I prophesy over your life, your days of weeping are over in the name that is above every other name. You have wept too much about that situation. You have cried too much about that issue. It is over now in the name that is above every other name, because God has begun a good work in you and He will finish it. Whatever God has started in your life, God has got the capabilities of bringing them to pass.
Thank you for joining us for another series on Revelation for Elevation. The Word of God is power. On this channel, you are guaranteed to be blessed, challenged, and elevated by the undiluted Word of God. The messages delivered by Reverend Augustine Momo will certainly enrich your spiritual journey. If you are new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified of new messages each week. Remember to like the message you're about to listen to and share it with a friend for their elevation. Blessings.
Revelation for elevation. The Word of God is power. Now, last week I introduced to you 3 elements of recovery, and today I'll be sharing one of the layer with you, which is weeping. They wept. They wept. There are some of you who have cried like that because the situation you find yourself at is too overwhelming. The situation that you are trapped in is too, the pain is excruciating, very painful. You are pained, and because of that, your first approach is to weep, to cry. You are not out of order when you cry. But before we get there, let's go back and look at verse number 2 to 5 of 1 Samuel 30. Look at verse number 2. And they had taken the women captive, and they were therein they slew not any, neither small or great, but they carried them away and went their way. And so David and his men came into the city. Behold, it was burnt with fire. And their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken away. Now listen to this. One of the job description of the devil, the 3 job description of the devil, according to John chapter 10 verse 10, say the thief cometh not but to kill, to steal, and to destroy. Now they invaded Ziklag. They destroyed the city. But I'm surprised that when they capture their wives, their children, the Bible says they did not slay any of them. May I say this to you? Whatever the devil has stolen from you, in the context of what I'm sharing with you today, the Bible said they took their women, they slew not any. They didn't kill any of them, neither small or great, but they took them away. Where they are, David never knew. But another thing I also want to point your attention to is this. If they burn the city down, since they burnt it down with fire, their city, that tells you that before David and his men came into the city, they must have smelled, they must have perceived, they must have, some scents, some kind of odor, some kind of smell, good or bad, aroma, whatever it is. The wind must have blown it in that direction before they enter the city. That tells you sometimes in your life, before you see your disaster, you can smell it from afar. And I prophesy to you today, before you approach that disaster, as you begin to smell it, That disaster will not come your way. That I prophesied that into your life in the name that is above every other name. Anytime you smell danger, anytime you smell this burnt city, make sure you call on the great monarch of Zion. When he say he burned the city, do you know the meaning of that? Do you know what is involved? Do you know what must have gone the drain? Burn the city means they burnt their business down. Burn the city down. It means their education system burnt. Hospitals go down. Airports go down. Every infrastructure in that city on fire. Someone will be thinking, how would they recover from this kind of so great of a disaster? How would they recover? How can they recover from this kind of disaster? Their city was burned down with fire. So it was on that what's the name? Moses came. David came. So he got there in verse number 4. The Bible said David and the people that were with him lifted up their voices and wept until they had no strength, no more power to weep. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So when you are bedeviled by disaster, the first thing that you need to understand is that you're going to respond. And most of the time, your first response will be to cry, to weep in regret. Can I say to you here that we are humans? We as humans, weeping is an organic response in the days of attacks. So the first element in this ecosystem, the first element of recovery is weeping. Is weeping. There's nothing wrong when you weep. Nothing is wrong. Don't make anybody make you feel bad. It is a natural way to respond to disaster. It is a natural way to respond to attacks. In Ecclesiastes chapter number 3, verse number 4, the Bible said, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance. So in God's scheme of things, when God was putting time and season in place, God created a time when human beings we weep. And people weep for the most part during disaster. Yeah, when they attack, when they lose something, that's when you see them weeping and crying. And I can begin to remind you here that in Psalm 137, verse number 1, you will see the children of Israel also, the Bible says, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remember Zion. Weeping in the days of trouble is not anything strange. It is expected as a child of God to express certain emotions in the days of trouble. In the days of trouble. I love the way Psalm 30 verse number 5 posted. He said, for the anger endure but for a moment. In his favor is life. Weeping may endure for the night, but joy cometh in the morning. For those of you who are listening to me today, who are weeping, I prophesy over your life, your days of weeping are over in the name that is above every other name. You have wept too much about that situation. You have cried too much about that issue. It is over now in the name that is above every other name, because God has begun a good work in you, and He will finish it. Whatever God has started in your life, God has got the capabilities of bringing them to pass. So when you weep, because that's the first response to the disaster around you, there's no problem. Weeping only endures for the night, for a night, but joy. So when you begin to cry in your darkest moment, you are getting closer to the breaking of a new day. You are getting closer to the breaking of a new day. You are getting closer to the breaking of a new day. And that day will break. Your day will come. Your weepings are over in the name that is above every other name. I prophesy on you that God turns around your captivity, that reproach, that pain, God turns it around, and God is launching you into your morning, your day break, in the name that is above every other name. The devil is a liar. Everything that the devil is planning to do to you, or the devil thought he has done on you, you will just weeping. Weeping is a layer, and God will take you from that and move you to the next layer. The next layer is the layer of encouragement. Having wept, no more strength to weep, then God takes you from that and take you to the place where you express, it will encourage you, or you encourage yourself in the Lord, just like this man did. I see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Revelation for Elevation. We trust that you were edified by the message. Here, we are a community, and we would love to hear from you and pray with you on your spiritual journey with Christ. You may contact Reverend Augustine Momo and submit your prayer request to revelation4elevation23@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow us on all social media platforms at Revelation for Elevation. Stay tuned for another empowering message, and until then, stay blessed.